Hey everyone, welcome to This Week in Rewards for the week of November 4th through to the 10th right here on the RWRDS Canada YouTube channel and the RWRDS Canada podcast. This is your weekly dose of loyalty rewards, travel and credit card happenings in Canada. And what a week it has been. There's lots of coverage and big news that generated a lot of what can we say, uproar? I don't even know the proper term, but yeah, generate a lot of news, and we'll get to that. And that's what everybody's waiting for. That's the news about American Express Cobalt Card. And as I posted in the post when the changes came out on the card, that I will discuss those more and dissect more of what American Express Canada has been doing this year. And that's going to come up towards the end of the video. So I figured I'd get through some of the other news quickly, or as quick as possible at the start of the video, so that we can go more in depth and kind of dive deeper into American Express and the Cobalt Card. So before we get into it, as always, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel if you don't, and hit that notification button so that you find out when we post videos on our YouTube channel. And if you're on the podcast, be sure to give us a 5-star rating if you enjoy our content. So the first thing we had this week, actually, was at the very start of the week. It was on Saturday. I posted a new loyalty lesson, and this loyalty lesson looked at selecting the correct Aeroplan flight reward or award option when the payment page comes up for when you're selecting an award. I've had a lot of people actually talk to me about this. I appeared on the CBC on a radio show back, it was beginning of September or so, discussing this because this option can affect the value. I mean, there's more that goes into say maximizing the value of an Aeroplan flight reward, but there's one thing that's at the core, at the base of it, and that's selecting the right payment option that Aeroplan provides. So like I'll put up a shot here. So here you see this is what I used in the blog post. You see you've selected a flight, or in this case I've selected a flight, sorry, but when you're on the booking page and you select a flight, you're going to get 4 options to select. And this is Aeroplan's points plus cash options. So these are great to have if you don't have enough points for a flight, because you can use less points and more cash to save you some money. But unlike, say, Air Miles recently launched a cash plus miles option, or some other programs that have the sliders and you can adjust how many points you use. Those other programs, the value remains the same across the board. With Aeroplan, it does not. The 4 options have variations in value. So you can see at the bottom, kind of, I guess is right-hand corner. There's the 4 options ranging from just over 15,000 miles to 30,000, and you can see there's a cash component that you pay as well. But what Aeroplan doesn't tell you is that there is different value for your points here, and there's also this popular button under the second option. And a lot of people have come to me saying, why is the value so low? Because and they're selecting that popular option because the popular option is actually not the best option out there. So that's what this loyalty lesson is all about. It shows you the 4 different options and the value per points. Now, the funny thing is, when you search for Aeroplan rewards on their site, the first page where they give you the selection of all the different flights, the values they put up there are what I call a standard award flight. Now, I don't know if Aeroplan has a name for it. I haven't seen anything, but this is what they use to generate their reward charts. And yes, the reward charts are just for guidance when it comes to Air Canada flights, because they do have dynamic pricing. But it is these standard awards, as I call them, that are the basis for those reward charts. And that's what the person who stemmed this whole thing, talking to the CBC, he was looking at those reward charts and was, where's the value? Because when they were looking at the amount of points they needed versus what the award chart showed, the value wasn't there. And so one of the issues that the reader had was the fact that they did not pick the option. I can't say not correct, but they didn't pick the option that provides the most value. So here, I'll put up this shot here. So this is what I call the standard option. This is the amount of points and dollar amount you'll see on the first page when you're selecting which flights you want. But when you come to the next page, that doesn't show up. And of course, there's that popular button. So unless you're entrenched in the points and miles world, or a big-time Aeroplan user, a super elite frequent flyer, but there's even super elites have come to me though who weren't aware of this. So I can't fully say that. I guess if you haven't learned this, this is a good time to learn it, is that Aeroplan puts popular under an option that's actually not the most valuable option. So that the most valuable option is the third option. This is on desktop. I should have done screenshots from the phone too, because I believe it shows up differently, like on mobile. But anyways, so this should show up anyways on the phone, kind of similar to this direction if you're on mobile. But this standard option is the one that provides the best value per Aeroplan point. And now, like I said in the feature, there's a lot more that comes down to getting the most value for your points. It's like class of service, the times you fly. Like the person that contacted the CBC, they were going Labor Day long weekend, last minute flights, very expensive. So the value per point is going to be less. But I'll put all that aside, because no matter what, if you select the wrong option here, you're going to lose a little bit of value. So if you have enough points, you always want to pick this third option, which I call the standard option. In this case, the $26,144 in value. In this case, for the flight I used, this was only a 1.4 cents redemption. So not the greatest to begin with, but that 1.4 cents was better than the 1 cent per point for the 15,000. It was like 1.34 cents for the 30,000, which was the points only, and I apologize, I don't have it in front of me. I think it's like 1.2 something for the 20,800. But no matter what, the third option always gives you the most value, and in this case, it was 12% better than the popular option, 40% better than the lowest, the 15,600. So as you can see, there's potential to get a lot more value, or the potential to lose value if you don't select the right option. So as long as you always have enough points that you don't have to use those partial payment options, you always want to select option number 3 when redeeming. Unless you don't want to pay any cash, you can use that points only. But again, per point, you're getting a little less value. And as I explained in the post, some of this, like that popular. The popular sticker there that the Air Canada does, I'm not a fan of it. It helps them out financially. It helps their bottom line, because unknowing people will go in there, oh, popular, this must be the best option, and they're going to pick it, and they're getting less value per point, which accounting-wise is better for Air Canada. And then they're also getting a better cash component paid to them, so more cash flow. So it works better for them, but it's not as good for the Aeroplan user. I kind of wish Aeroplan just used the same value across the board. It'd be nice. Maybe, instead of 15,000 points, have it 17,000 points, but give it 1.4. But again, it all comes down to accounting and the bottom line. And there's not much more to be said about that. I mean, they will do what they have to do. But hopefully, like with this loyalty lesson, people will know that you always want to select that third option, the standard option as I call it, because that is your best bet when it comes to redeeming Aeroplan points. It's going to give you the best value, even if you're redeeming for a not so good economy class, like that example. That was only 1.4 cents, but you're getting 1.4 cents for the best option versus 1 cent for the first option, or 1.2 something for the second option, and 1.34 for the points only. So you're maximizing your value by taking option number 3, or as Monty Hall used to say with Let's Make a Deal, what's behind door number 3. So you want door number 3 for sure, not the others. So that's the Aeroplan thing. I probably went on quite a bit longer on that than I expected. So let's get through these other things a little bit quicker here. Another big one this week was the WestJet credit card. This was a targeted offer sent out to quite a few members, though, who have the credit cards, giving you the option of converting your companion voucher into WestJet dollars towards a WestJet Vacations package, not towards like just general flights. It has to be used towards a vacation package. The values range from $100 on the base card, and Elite World Elite card holders were receiving $200 or $300. I personally received $300 in my email. I'm not converting, but if you want to convert, what you have to do is just you have to register first, and then it'll be converted over. You have to do it by November 22nd, and then you can use those WestJet dollars towards a WestJet Vacations package. This is targeted, so if you did not get the email, technically speaking, I don't think you're targeted. I pulled the registration links from the blog post after my discussions with WestJet, because they said it is really specific per person. So I did that. So just make sure to check your email. If you're like me, half my WestJet emails go into my spam junk box. So check your spam junk box if you haven't seen it, because it might be in there, and register for the offer. I mean, it's good to have this additional option, especially if you're a solo traveler. It's like converting the voucher to lounge passes is good for a solo traveler, because what are you use a companion voucher for? And the same thing goes here. Maybe you want to jet off, for a nice all-inclusive during the winter, even if you go on your own. I mean, I know a lot of people travel on their own, even to like all-inclusives with that. So good option. And I'm sure if this has good uptake and good numbers, this will become a permanent option. That's just my thoughts, because they did the same thing with the lounge vouchers. The lounge vouchers proved to be a popular option when they first came out with it, that they kept it. So I wouldn't be surprised if this does well, that it becomes a permanent option on the card, which is great. I mean, it's great to have more options for your things. Now, what the dollar value will be, who knows? If it's 200 or 300 for the World Elite cards, I mean, that's not bad. WestJet says the average value of a companion voucher that's redeemed, this was for all of 2022, was $500. So I mean, it's less value than that, but I mean, I'm glad to hear so many people are getting value. I mean, some people are probably getting $2,000 for the voucher, whereas other people are getting $100. But an average across all the vouchers redeemed in 2022 was $500. I mean, that's a great deal for a $119 card. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you're a solo traveler and you never travel with a companion, I've had people talk to me. Actually, one of our good contributors and followers, Andre, was just saying, he travels alone, doesn't check baggage, so he doesn't see much value in the WestJet card, which makes sense, because those are the two big key elements of the card. So if you get other options to use your companion voucher for other things like this, it opens a door to some other people who would maybe never consider the card, because if they made it standard $300, or even that $200 pays for the card itself if you can use it. So something to consider. Hopefully they make it a permanent option. I honestly think they will, if the traction from this promotion is good enough. Okay, let's get on to the next one. Let's go through this. Via Rail finally came out. This is so funny. The day before I got my email from Via, I was like, yeah, I really need to check on that, because it has been a while since they said that the program changes will be happening. They said it was delayed indefinitely. Kind of reminds me how we haven't really heard much about Aeroplan and Journey Rewards, which I believe should be coming very soon. But it's kind of on the back burner now, things like that. And I was thinking about the Via Rail one. It's like, where is it? And it's funny, the next day you get emails saying it's coming, November 18th. So the changes we first announced, I believe it was January, that were supposed to take place in March, are finally coming on November 18th. I believe it was delayed to their whole reservation system having issues, the new one that they're implementing, because that launches on November 18th as well. Just a quick highlight, check the link below if you want more details, but you'll earn points on more items with them, not just on tickets, but like the extras that you pay for, you can earn points. But they're also moving to dynamic reward pricing, where you now have to pay taxes and fees on top of that. And depending on which ticket you buy a low price ticket, you're bound by the same refund or cancellation rules as if you were paying cash for those tickets. And of course, more expensive tickets will cost more points than they do now. So again, all the usual things that happen when a program moves to dynamic pricing happen here, good and bad, depending on what ticket you end up using your points for. And then the good news though is when you do earn elite status or achieve elite status in the preference program, now it kicks in right away. Because right now the program up until November 18th has been, doesn't matter what time in the year you earn your elite status, you don't get it until the following year. Now it'll kick in right away and last for the entire following year. So in this case, I assume, I haven't read in depth as to what happens if you've reached status before November 18th, but I would hope that means that if you've already earned status for next year from your travel on Via this year, that as of November 18th, it'll kick in. So I'll see if I can find out more details on that. But yeah, Via Rails changes coming soon. Okay, let's get on to the next one. I'm kind of going through here because I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. Marriott, we learned through Seal the Deal Travel via Frequent Miler that they still use category reward charts. Yeah, the ones that we were so used to for so long. So we show you in this post how you can find that. Basically, it's just another tool. There's not, how can I say this? I guess there's potentially value in it because it helps you find how many points you can expect to pay for a hotel now, because the Seal the Deal did so much work behind it to kind of create the value of each category and the reward chart. Now these can change because it is dynamic pricing. Pricing can change all the time, but it's kind of a good guideline to let you know what you can expect points-wise to pay for a hotel, and maybe which hotel you can use your free night certificates at. Read the post. It goes into much more detail. It's actually kind of hard to describe in person here like this. So that's that. I'll make a quick note. Petro points. One we don't talk about too much, but I mean, if you have enough points right now, they have the 2 bonus washes when you redeem for a 5-wash reload. So this is the only thing I redeem my Petro points for, because it's amazing value. So I actually redeem for their 15-wash reload. So that means 6 bonus washes. So as you see on the screen there, 21 washes for 150,000 Petro points. Perfect. I love it. I love when this happens. So have enough car washes here for the winter for the family, for our cars. Hopefully have enough. I mean, we'll see. It depends how much snow and how wet and how many Chinooks we get here in Calgary. But yeah, so if you have enough points to redeem for either 5, 10, or 15 wash and goes with Petro points, now's the time to do it, because you get those 2 bonus washes for each 5, that is. So yeah, I had 21 here for 15,000 or 150,000 points, and if you're paid to pay cash, I think each wash is now like $13 or $14. So that's like, I don't know. I'm going to say quick math here and just say that I probably got close to $300 in value for my 150,000 Petro points there. Probably not that much. I mean, because there's other deals and all that. I mean, it depends what you're willing to pay. But I'll say I got at least $200 value. That's what I'm going to go with. All right, so that's it. And now on to the big news. American Express Cobalt Card. Yes. So as of November 9th, the welcome bonus has been cut in half from 30,000 points over a year, 2,500 per month over 12 months. It's down to 1,250 points per month, or 15,000 total for a year. And you now have to spend $750 on the card per month instead of $500. So at the end of the year, if it's all 5 times points category, you're going to end up with 60,000 points, just like you did before. But unfortunately, if you spent $750 previously, you'd be earning even more than 60,000 points. Trying to make it sound better here, but it's an unfortunate change on the card in terms of the welcome bonus. But that's the only change that happened. God, this went crazy. This went crazy on, what was that, on the 8th? Yeah, November 8th. On Wednesday, some notes went out saying that there's some painful changes coming to the card, some negative changes to the card. I then, right after that, put out my usual tweet to give you guys a hint that, hey, the welcome bonus is changing, but without saying the welcome bonus is changing. But people read into that much more because of those other people or other posts saying painful and negative changes. So I guess, it was an unfortunate series of events. Let's do Lemony Snicket here. That kind of led up to a whole bunch of speculation that went way beyond what I ever expected. This has never happened before. I mean, I can't even recall how many years I've been giving hints as to when to apply for a card or not to apply for a card like this, and never has this happened before. Largely, I think it goes ignored, to be honest with you. So I think what I said in some posts and that, this just shows how passionate people are about their Cobalt card, and everybody's worried about the changes. So as I said in my actual post on the day the changes happen, if I will move ahead and go forward with continuing to give you guys hints, it will always just be about the welcome bonus. Because anytime a card has more major changes, we usually get the green light beforehand to give you guys the details beforehand. I mean, this is what Amex did with the Platinum changes. This is what Bank of Montreal's done with their changes. You name it, whether it's negative, positive. If there's changes to usually the core things on a card, like HSBC when they changed the earn rates on their card, or TD First Class, the changes to insurance on the HSBC card, you name it. There's always been enough notice, and it is published and put out there, because those are some big changes that can really piss off people, so it's like, or make people really happy. But in this case, when it's unknown and you see blogs, and we do it on RWRDS Canada, I see other blogs do it. If you see a sudden onslaught of coverage about a card, it typically means there's going to be a negative change just to the welcome bonus. If you see absolute radio silence about a card, and this is more so in cards where there's there is a published end date. It's like, oh, it's like this offer is going to end October 31st, but you don't hear people talking about it. That usually means that the offer on November 1st, I'm just using dates as an example, that the date, once that offer date changes, that means it's going to be a better offer. So if there's no hints going out and there's absolute radio silence about a card, you can expect the next offer to be better. Here, I'm giving you guys more tips here, so hopefully you take these to heart, but understand that the storm that happened on November 8th here about the Cobalt card, like I said, I think it was just a series of events. I don't think if there was other, if nobody had posted something about being painful or negative, our social media tweet and post on Facebook probably would have went more unnoticed. I mean, it's the Cobalt card, so it's going to be more noticed than the TD Aeroplan Infinite or like Scotia Gold Amex or something like that. I mean, when you talk about the Cobalt card, the best credit card in Canada, no matter what you say, it's going to generate it's going to generate some news. So that's what happened. But yeah, so hopefully that kind of explains it. So that's it. But if you've had the card or even going to get the card, it's still the best card in Canada. You're just now only going to earn $150 on it in a year versus $300 in terms of the bonuses. But you're still going to earn the 5 times points. You're going to get the conversions to Aeroplan. You're going to, you still have the most valuable card in your wallet. But what this does is it opens up the door for Amex to offer increased welcome bonuses, which will be the old standard bonus. It'll be like, I wouldn't be surprised if in the new year sometime we see 30,000 points for the Cobalt card, but it'll probably remain at $750 spend, not $500. So a little bit of changes there, but it does open the door to, for people who aren't in the industry or followers of points and miles to suddenly see, oh my God, look at that. The card has a 30,000 point bonus, and they'll think it's amazing when, we've had that for years. But truth be told, 20 years ago, 15,000 points would have been one of the best offers out there. The cards back then, when I started RWRDS Canada were 5,000 point bonus, 10,000. If a card had a 25,000 point or mile bonus, that was amazing. So consider yourselves lucky nowadays with cards offering 100,000 points or miles. Like it has changed so much. And 5 times points earning. Every card back then earned 1 point per dollar. We'd be lucky if it was 2. So the industry has changed so much. But yeah, so here's the thing, and too, the Cobalt card, I don't think we're going to, at least for a long time, see any changes to the core parts of the card. We can't. They can't. This card is so entrenched now into what it has created in the industry and in the credit card market that if they change the earn rates, especially, primarily the 5 times points, the streaming services, 3 times points, 2 times points, gas and transit, those are still big, but if anything touched that 5 times points, other than the monthly cap they've put on now instead of yearly cap, but at least they kept the value at 30,000 per year. If they touch that 5 times points, I think it would destroy their card and it would hurt Amex big time. So I don't think they can ever do that, especially with other cards offering 5 times points, even though BMO's 5 times points aren't even worth anything near what Cobalt's 5 times points worth. But MBNA's 5 times points are worth quite a bit. Scotia Gold Amex's is, and they even have 6 times points. So what Amex kind of created with the Cobalt card, it would be very hard for them to go back on, especially with the conversions too to Aeroplan and British Airways now. It'd be very, very hard for them to go back on any of the core items of this card. We may see tweaks here and there. They may up the monthly price again, which still would be worth it. If this card was $20 a month, it'd be worth it. I shouldn't say that because if they watch this, they may take that to heart. But anyways, I think you guys get the picture here. I honestly can't foresee major changes. I could be 100% wrong, and they might do it, but it would spell, doom for the card, I feel, if they touch that 5 times points, which is what everybody was concerned about. So that's it. That's it about the Cobalt card. But what about Amex in general? There's a lot of changes this year. We had the changes to the Platinum cards, right? They lost the Air Miles cards. American Express was very giving during the pandemic. They out of all the card issuers took care of their card members the most. They spent a lot of money to keep their card members happy and keep them using their cards. And I think that may have cost them quite a bit. I think it really touched upon their revenues, and I feel like perhaps their revenues still have not got to where they want, or like their targets. I mean, I feel like they're feeling it. Now, I'm not saying that they're hurting. No, there's no, in no way is American Express hurting. They're probably doing great, but they're just not, I feel like they're just not hitting targets that have been set out. But like any business, you want those targets. You want to increase your profits. You want to increase your revenues. And the moves from American Express this year kind of hint at that. You think about the Amex Platinum card. I'll talk about personal card first. Their changes to the card there, up the annual fee by $100, but add a $200 dining credit. But the $200 dining credit is very limited. I mean, you think about it, you have to spend $200, and you have, 100 odd restaurants to use that. So, I mean, if you're not in those big cities or traveling to those big cities where these restaurants are, but have the Platinum card, that $200 credit is going to not go used. But there's people who enjoy this card, love this card, that $100 of extra annual fees, they're still going to keep the card for lounge access, you name it, the hotel elite status, fine hotels and resorts, you name it. They're still getting value of the card, but Amex has now increased their revenues by $100 on the card without changing anything for that person. They're looking for breakage on the dining credit for sure. If it was a more open dining credit, like a lot of the other Amex Platinum cards, you look at the European Platinum cards, it's open for any dining, or multiple, it doesn't have to be a $200 spend. It could be, up to $200. They'll give you a $100 credit this time, 50, you name it, those type of things. So it's a very limiting one. And in the same regard as adding the dining credit, they dropped the dining earn rate from 3 to 2 points, right, per dollar. And again, for some people, that just, it's not a big deal, but again, if they're using this card for dining, they're earning a little bit less points, a little bit more revenue on American Express's side. So so those are the personal card, that's the main changes on the personal card, right? And definitely, for most people who have the card, I feel like a lot of them aren't going to be using that dining credit, so American Express is earning $100 more per year for all these card members. And it'll easily pay for those $200 credits that for the people who are using those credits. So that's the personal and business platinum, even bigger, $300 increase in the annual fee. You get the $200 travel credit, but again, breakage there, and probably not as much as the dining credit. More people can use that travel credit than a dining credit. People say, oh, but you have the refundable hotel trick with it. It's like, yeah, but you know how many hundreds of thousands of people do not know the refundable hotel trick? That's kind of a subset thing done in the community, or like, or deals communities like Red Flag Deals, or the churning community, or the travel, you want to call it travel hacking community, whatever names you want to use it. It's again kind of a smaller subset that do something like the refundable hotel trick. I mean, the majority of Platinum card holders, business or personal, do not do that. They are unaware of that. They'll actually if they use the travel credit, they'll actually use it for travel. So, so here we have, that's added to the business Platinum. More of it will get used, but again, there'll be breakage there. You're paying $300 extra a year for that. And there's the $120 wireless credit. Again, a lot of business owners will use it, but a lot probably won't either. So if they're finding value in the card in other regards, in terms of the lounge access, you name that, they're going to be fine paying that extra $300 a year, but that's a $300 boost to Amex's revenue. So I think you see where I'm going with this. Well, I'm just analyzing, and maybe I'm 100% wrong here, but this is just, everything's kind of leading me in this direction. And, I'd love to hear your comments. Comment below if you think I'm way off, or you think I'm going the right direction. I'd love to hear. I'm always looking to learn too. If you guys have other ideas of what's going on, feel free to put them in the comments below and let me know. And then, of course, so those are the Platinum card changes. Now you have the Cobalt card changes. It's just on the welcome bonus, but again, it's a revenue thing, right? They now want you spending $250 more a month, and the bonus has been cut in half. So they're giving out, on any new card holders, $150 less per year. And gaining a little bit on, interchange rates for that $700, for that extra $250 to $250. All in all, it's about the bottom line. So that's the Cobalt changes. And then the other big one, which I should note, which I was totally wrong about this year, no shop small. no shop small for the general consumer American Express cards. We're coming up close to the end of the year. I don't know if we'll see one for the Christmas season. It seems highly unlikely now. Now, we did see shop small for the Scotia cards twice. I think it was twice. Yeah, twice this year. But here's the thing: Scotia's probably funding all of it, or even part of it. And the amount of Scotia Amex cards out there versus Amex's owned issued American Express cards is a drop in the bucket. So it's not, even if Amex is paying a part of that $5 credit or whatever they're giving as the shop small, it's a much smaller revenue hit than if they offered this like they used to all Amex consumer cards. And that, because American Express funds that. So in this case with Scotia, at least Scotia is funding part or all of it. So it's not as big of a hit to American Express. So all of these things have kind of led me to believe that, basically the bosses up top said we need to increase our revenues, we need to increase our profits, something like that. It just kind of seems to lead that direction. But truth be told, American Express is a great company. They are doing great from what I can tell, from what I can see. Oh yes, I didn't even touch upon the American Express Air Miles cards. They lost that portfolio. Again, not a big portfolio, nowhere near what BMO and Air Miles, but still, those are cards that some people were probably converted over, but some people probably didn't take Amex up on being converted to other cards. So, there's a little bit of a revenue hit there. So as a business, they are just doing what they have to do to make sure targets are met or surpassed. And I think that's, in a nutshell, all these changes that Amex that we've seen are doing. It's trying to increase their revenue, their bottom line. No matter what, they're still the most rewarding cards out there, still the best loyalty program out there. Membership rewards is untouched by any other credit card program, you name it. Let's just hope that that this is kind of it from them in terms of the changes. I'm sure we'll see. I'm sure we'll know if how much of an impact these changes have on the program. We'll probably see in the new year if there's a big jump in a lot of welcome bonuses in the new year. Then we can say, maybe these changes hurt them more than actually help them out. But again, just speculation on my part, and I'm rambling on here. I think I've gone on long enough. This is probably a really long video. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button. And yeah, I'd love to hear your comments on what you think about any and all, everything we covered today, or even if there's things I didn't cover today that transpired in the past couple weeks in the world of loyalty programs, credit cards, and travel. Put them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. And you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next week.